Hi, I'm Gary, the Traveling Yogi. Thanks for joining me today for our practice. We're indoors again because it's a little chilly outside, but we're practicing in front of the fireplace so we'll be able to stay warm. Let's begin with some gentle movement. Just bring the palms to the knees, sit up nice and tall, cross-legged position. Take a deep breath. Let the breath go. You can close your eyes here. Another deep breath in, feeling the spine lengthen, feeling the head rise. And let it go. Now on this third one, take a deep breath in, and then as you exhale, try and relax the shoulders and the neck a little bit. Now draw a deep breath in. You can open your eyes if you like and look off to the left and then to the right and to the left and then back to the right. Bring your chin back to center, then drop your left ear down towards the left shoulder and then back to center, right ear towards right shoulder and back to center. Again, left ear towards left shoulder and back to center, right ear towards right shoulder and back to center. Left ear towards left shoulder, then bring your chin to your chest and right ear towards right shoulder. Look up very gently and then left ear towards left shoulder, chin to chest. Right ear to right shoulder, lift the chin high. Now bring the chin down so it's level and then let the chin come to the chest. Inhale, lift the chin high. And one more time, chin comes to the chest. Lift the chin up. And then back to center. Now right ear towards right shoulder and chin to chest. Left ear towards left shoulder and lift the chin high. Right ear towards right shoulder, chin to chest. This is the last time around with our neck circles. And right ear towards right shoulder, chin to chest. Now lift the chin so it's nice and level. Take a deep breath in and let your spine get long again. Now relax the shoulders. Now keep both hands on your knees. Just take a gentle twist to the left and then a twist to the right. And back to center and again a twist to the left. And back to center and a twist to the right. Come back to center. Take a deep breath in, let your spine lengthen. Then bring the left hand down and reach the head up and over. We're just creating a crescent shape in the spine. And then back to center. Bring that left hand to the left knee, right hand comes down, and a crescent shape the other direction. And back to center. And one more time on each side, this time to the left. And left hand comes back to the knee, right hand comes down, and find that crescent shape. Back to center. Bring your left hand back, or the right hand rather, back to the right knee, left and right. So confusing sometimes. Take a deep breath. Now breathe in deeply, let your spine lengthen. And then press the palms into the knees, bend the elbows, bring your chin to your chest and round your spine, bring your forehead down towards the mat. And then inhale, we just rounded the spine forward. Now we're going to round the spine back. Lift the elbows up, cactus the elbows, lift the chin. And then bring the palms back to the knees, around the spine, and bring the forehead down towards the mat. Inhale, rise back up, core engages, cactus the elbows, lift the chin, and then exhale the chin so it's level, and bring the palms back down to the knees. Let's begin now to explore the range of motion in the arms, including the shoulders. Bring the right hand down, just lean over a little bit to the right, reach the left hand up and overhead, and now circle that left arm in the left shoulder. And go back the other way a couple of times. So around a couple of times each direction, and then back to center and over to the other side. Bring the left hand down. Keep the spine relatively long. Reach the right hand up and overhead. Now reach the right hand forward, and then bring the arm back, and then straight up and then back the other direction, a few times around, 2 or 3 each way, and then back to center. Bring both hands out in front, flip the palms so they face up. Now bend the elbows, touch the tops of the shoulders with the fingertips, and then straighten. Let's do that one more time. Bend the elbows and straighten. Now make gentle fists with both hands and rotate the fists or the hands at the wrists. Go around a couple of times one way and then a couple of times back the other way. And then open the hands and just play with the fingers and the thumbs a little bit. Notice all those individual joints in the fingers and play with those joints. Just feel that movement. Great. That's it. Bring it down. Now, I'm going to turn to the side, but you can stay forward. Bend your right knee and bring the knee towards the chest. Then bring the knee out to the side and then straighten the leg and then off to the left side of the body. You can come down to the elbows even if you want here. Go around a couple of times one way and then a couple of times back the other direction. And then bend the right knee and point the toes and straighten that right leg. And then bend it and straighten it. And one more time. Bend and straighten. And now rotate the foot and the ankle. Or at the ankle, not in the ankle. And then you can bring that right leg down. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Now bend the left knee. And then bring the left knee off to the right across the body and then straighten the leg, bringing the knee forward, and then the knee comes off to the left side and then towards the chest. And we'll go back the other direction now. And the purpose of this movement is just to experience range of motion of the femur in that left hip. Now straighten the left leg, experiencing the range of motion in the knee joint, obviously very similar to what you get with the elbows. This is a hinge joint. Now straighten the leg and then rotate the ankle, or the foot rather, at the ankle. Go around a couple of times one way and then back a couple of times the other. And then bring that left leg down. Come back to a seat. Now let me have you roll over your knees and come to a table posture. And once you're in table pose, tuck your toes and lift your hips into downward facing dog. And then from downward facing dog, begin to slowly walk your feet forward towards the front of the mat, towards your hands. And then once you're at the front of the mat, slowly begin to rise, keeping your chin on your chest. Come all the way up to a standing posture. Now reach your arms up and overhead, and then as you exhale, bring your hands to heart center, pressing the palms together. Then once you're there, bring your arms out to a T. Bring your feet so they're about hip width apart, maybe even a little bit wider. And press in the pinky toe side of the feet so you really feel grounded in the feet. Now take a very gentle twist to the left and then bring it back to center. Keep your core engaged, the abdominal muscles engaged as you move through this flow. And then over to the other side and then back to the right. And one more time to the left. And one more time to the right. Actually, this feels so good, let's keep it going. One more time to the left. And one more time to the right. Bring it back to center now. Drop your right hand down so the right palm is outside that right thigh. Reach the left hand up and overhead. Stay grounded in both feet, but shift your weight to the left and reach to the right. And then back to center. Now bring that left hand down, reach the right hand up and over, and shift the weight to the right. And back to center. And twice more on each side. Creating again that C curve, that crescent shape of the spine. Here though, we've moved into dynamic stretching. So we've left the gentle movement portion of our practice and we've moved into that phase. Come back to center now and bring the hands forward and then back, and then forward. We're stretching out the chest a little bit, as well as the muscles between the shoulder blades, and forward and back, and one more time, forward and back. Now bring the hands back to center, and then bend your knees and bring the hands to the knees. Let your head drop down. On an inhale, rise back up, lift the chin, and exhale and down. We're rounding the spine now in a dynamic way, lifting the chin and exhale and down. This is rounding forward, and inhale, rising and rounding back. And one more time, rounding forward and back. And then come all the way down. Release the hands down to the mat. Bring your weight into the front of the feet. And with your chin on your chest, draw your navel in, rounding the spine deeply as you rise. Then reach up high and bring the hands to heart center. Again, with the feet about hip width apart and parallel to one another. Press the palms up towards the sky, having interlaced the fingers. I didn't tell you that part, so interlace your fingers first. And then press the palms up towards the sky, and then bend your elbows and bring your hands so that they are pressing into the back of the head. Keep the fingers interlaced. Draw the navel in. Now drop your left elbow down, reach the right elbow up, and press your hips to the to the right, and then back to center. Keep the core engaged, and to the other side, right elbow down, left elbow reaching high, core engages. We come back to center one more time on each side, and then back to center, and right elbow down. This is the last one. Left elbow reaching high and back to center. You release your hands, interlace the fingers again, press the palms up towards the sky, and then release the hands and bring them down by your side. Facing the front of the mat, now slowly hinge at the hips and fold forward, and then inhale to a half lift. Exhale, let your head drop all the way down. And then press into the front of the feet and rise. Reach up high and back, and exhale the hands to heart center. Let's do that a few more times. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift with the weight at the front of the feet. And exhale, fold forward. Let your head drop down. Now press into the front of the feet as you rise. Reach up high. And exhale the hands to heart center. Inhale, let's do that again. Up and back. Exhale, fold forward. On an inhale, half lift, Ardha Uttanasana is the name of the pose. Exhale, fold forward, let your head drop down. Press into the front of the feet and rise, reach up and look up. And exhale the hands, bringing them to heart center. Let's do it one more time. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, let the head drop all the way down. Now press into the front of the feet and rise, reach up high, and then exhale your hands to heart center. Now bring your arms out to a T, hinge at the hips and fold forward. Come to a half lift again and bring the weight forward so that the weight's at the front of the feet. Then let your head drop down. Step the right foot back, step the left foot back, and then bring the knees down. Coming to table pose. Once you're in table pose, draw your navel up a little bit. Now leave the right hand just where it is. Reach the left hand high. Now bring the left hand under, tap the left hand to the right shoulder, and then press into the right hand. Reach back up. Let's do that twice more. Underneath, tapping, and reaching up with the left hand, and one more time, and tap that left shoulder, or right shoulder rather, and reach back up, and then bring the left hand down. Let's go to the other side. Press into the left hand, reach the right hand up, bring the right hand under, tap the left shoulder with the right hand, press into the right left hand and reach up, and do it a second time. Under, and reaching up, and under, and tapping the shoulder, and pressing into the left hand, reaching the right hand high, and then bring your right hand down. Coming now into table pose, draw the navel up a little bit towards the spine, and then drop the belly, lift the chin, coming into cow pose. Press the hands into the mat now as you let your head drop down into cat pose. Press the middle of the back towards the sky. Do that again. Drop the belly and lift the chin, cow pose, and exhale to cat. Let's do that one more time. Dropping the belly, lifting the chin. And then exhaling to cat pose. Now bring yourself back to a neutral spine and walk the hands forward about 4 inches. Notice that your thumbs are pointing more or less towards one another. And then press the hands into the mat. Keep the elbows straight as you press back towards child's pose. Now lift your navel up towards the spine, gliding back through table pose. Drop the hips down. Press the heart forward. Lift the chin just a little bit. Now press back towards child's pose. And then we'll flow through that all again. Gliding the hips forward and down. Elbows stay straight. And then one more time, press back towards child's pose. And then come back to table pose, gliding the hips forward and down. And now tuck the toes and lift the hips as you come out of our back bend into downward facing dog. From there, glide forward to plank, knees to the mat, press the hips to the heels, glide the hips forward and down into our knees down, upward facing dog. Then tuck your toes and lift your hips into downward facing dog. Stretch it out. Now glide forward to plank. So you were just holding that stretch for a moment. Now the knees to the mat, press the hips to the heels. Gliding through table pose, hips come forward and then down. Press the heart forward. Feel the shoulder blades come a little closer together on the back. And now tuck your toes and lift your hips into downward facing dog. And then from downward facing dog, come forward to plank pose. And then bring your knees back to the mat, back to table pose. Now, step your right foot forward so it comes right between the hands, and then straighten the right leg. Keep your hands on the mat, reach your head forward, press that right hip back, straightening the leg. Feel the stretch in the back of the right leg, maybe in the hip on the right side. Now bend the right knee and press that knee forward. Press your heart forward. Don't lift the chin too high. Now straighten that right leg, press the hip back, reach the head forward. And we're going to do that one more time. Press the knee forward, that right knee, and then straighten the knee, pull that right hip back, reach your head forward now, and then bend the right knee and bring the right knee back to table pose. Let's go over to the other side. Bend the left knee and bring that left foot between the hands. Now press the left knee forward and then straighten the left leg. Reach the head forward, pull the left hip back, and then bend the left knee. Press the knee forward, press the chest forward, press the hips down, and then straighten the leg, pull that left hip back, reach the head forward, and then bend the left knee. Good work. Now, step the left knee back to table pose. And then from here, bring the knees together. Let your hips drop down to the mat. Swing the legs around in front of you. And then roll all the way down to your back. Once you're on your back, let's find happy baby pose. And I want you to be here just a moment. So we're not going to do a static stretch. We're just going to do a dynamic stretch. And then straighten both legs. You should feel that in the hamstrings, most of you anyway. And then bend the knees. And straighten both legs. And bend the knees. And straighten both legs. And bend the knees. Now straighten the left leg only. And then bend the right leg only. And left leg straightens. And right leg straightens. And one more time. Left leg straightens. And the right leg straightens. And then back to happy baby pose. And then rock all the way forward to a seated posture. Once you're seated, I guess I'll turn to face you here. Once you're seated, bend your left knee and bring the sole of the left foot to the inside of that right thigh. Press the right heel away. Reach the arms high and exhale, fold forward. Inhale and rise back up. Bring the arms out to a T, and then bring the left hand down behind you. Plant I can't say it. Plant that left hand behind you. Press into the heel of the right foot and the left knee and lift your hips. We've done this before. Now lift your hips a little bit higher, let your head drop down, and then bring the hips down and square the shoulders again to the extended right leg, hinge at the hips, and fold forward. Inhale and rise back up, and you can release the hands and bring them down. Let's go over to the other side now. Sole the right foot to the inside of the left thigh. I've turned the other way so that you'll be able to see what this looks like from the side. Sole of the right foot to the inside of the left thigh. Press the left heel away from you. Arms come out to a T, and then reach up high. Plant the sitting bones. Really press the sitting bones down. Now hinge at the hips and fold forward. Big dynamic stretch in the back of that left leg. Inhale and rise back up. Arms come back out to a T. Now take a twist to the right. Plant the right hand behind you. Lift the hips and reach with the left hand. Let your head drop down. And then bring the hips back down to the mat. Square the shoulders to the extended left leg. Hinge at the hips again and fold forward. And then inhale and rise all the way back up. Bring both legs out in front. I'm going to turn back to the front of my mat now. Bend your knees just a little bit, lengthen the spine, and then lean back and see if you can create a 45-degree angle between your thighs and your upper body. And then bring the hands to the knees, the back of the knees, and pick the feet up off the mat. Keep the knees bent and hug your elbows in towards your thighs or your side body. Now straighten the legs into a supported full boat pose. Take a couple of breaths. Try and relax into the posture a little bit. And we've moved into the strength portion, the strength building portion of our yoga practice. You can release the hands now and reach them forward. Maybe flip the palms so they face up. You can reach the arms up and overhead, interlacing the fingers, pointing the index fingers. Whatever you do, lengthen your spine and breathe. Big, deep breaths here. A lot of demands on the body in this pose, and we need to support those demands with breath. Now bend the knees, bring the hands to the knees, rock back, and then rock all the way forward into a standing forward fold, and let your head drop down in the standing forward fold. Take opposite elbows. Press the elbows down towards the mat. Now press into the front of the feet so the heels almost begin to float. Keep your biceps on either side of your ears. Keep your spine long as you unfold, hinging at the hips. Come up all the way. Feel deep engagement in the core as you rise. Reach up through the elbows, lengthening the whole body, and then hinge at the hips and reverse the process and let yourself come all the way down, nice and slow. Keep the weight in the front of the feet. Avoid leaning back so that you bring the weight into the heels. Keep the weight forward in the front of the feet. Rise, do that again. Coming up. Whoa, man, lots of core engagement. I really feel that in the abs and the glutes. Reach up through the elbows and slowly return, coming all the way back down, keeping the weight in the front of the feet again. Let your elbows come down. Press the elbows down towards the mat and then come back up one more time, pressing into the front of the feet as you rise. Reach up high through the elbows once you're all the way up, and then return back down to our folded position in Uttanasana. Once you're down, release the elbows, bring your hands down to the mat, and step your left foot back into runner's lunge. Once you're there, heel toe the right foot over to the right a little bit. Keep that right knee bent and rise into a high crescent lunge, reaching the arms up and overhead, pressing back on the left heel. Left leg is straight. Press the right foot into the mat. The whole right foot, the heel as well as the balls of the feet. Now bring the arms out, or the ball of the foot. Bring the arms out to a T. And then bring the palms together. Take a prayer twist. Left elbow to right knee. Right elbow is reaching high. As we continue with the strength portion of our practice, the strength building portion, Keep the palms together. Press into that right foot as you come up. And then reach the arms high. And then bring the hands down on either side of the right foot. Now step that right foot back to meet the left foot in plank pose. Take a deep breath. And let the breath go. Do that a second time. A big, deep breath. And let it go. One more time. Deep breath in. Now let all the breath out. And then lift your hips into downward facing dog. And lift the left leg up. Step the left foot forward into runner's lunge so that left foot comes between the hands. If you want, you can scoot the left foot over to the left a little bit. Keep pressing into the left foot as you rise into our high crescent lunge on the second side. That right leg is nice and straight, pressing back on the right heel. Now the arms come out to a T. Take your prayer twist to the left, bringing the right elbow to the left knee, joining the palms. Keep the spine long. See if you can lift your left elbow over the palms and the palms over the right elbow. The fire is really warm. It's very nice practicing in front of the fire. Keep the palms together as you come back to center. Reach the arms high. And then bring the hands down on either side of that left foot. Now step the left foot back to plank pose. Let's find our 3 breaths in plank again. Check in with your alignment in plank. Pretty much always do that so that you know that your shoulders, your hips, and your heels are all in the same line. You'll be able to feel it eventually. Now bring the knees to the mat. Chest and chin follow, inchworming your way into a Cobra Pose. Lift the heart up off the mat and then release down. Tuck your toes now. Stiffen your whole body. Push to plank. And then lift your hips, downward facing dog. On an inhale, reach your right leg high. I'm actually going to move to the other side of the mat. And then step your right foot forward so it ends up between the hands. Spin the left heel to the mat and rise to Warrior Two. And then straighten the right leg and pivot on the right heel, finding Prasarita, or wide-legged stance. Now reach the arms up and overhead, interlace the fingers, point the index fingers, roll the ankles towards the outside of the pose. So you're pressing down on the pinky toes of both feet. Take a deep breath and lengthen. Now hinge at the hips, folding forward. Come halfway down. Now release the arms, bring them out to a T. Reach the hands apart from one another. Now bring the right hand down, press it into the mat right below your face. Reach the left hand high. Keep the hands in opposition to one another and rotate to the other side, bringing the left hand down, reaching the right hand high. Let's do that a second time. Bring the arms out to a T. Right hand comes down, left hand reaches. And a last one. The left hand comes down and a right hand reaches up towards the sky. Now bring the arms out to a T. We're going to have a little fun now. Wrap your arms, so hug yourself. Kind of hug opposite shoulders if you can do that. Keep the spine nice and long. Bring the weight back into the pinky toes. And now look up to the right and then to the left and up to the right and to the left. One more time on each side. And then back to center. Release the arms out to a T and slowly begin to rise. And reach up high. Exhale your hands to heart center. Then the arms come out to a T. Now pivot on the left heel, bend the left knee, and find Warrior Two towards the back of your mat. And cartwheel your hands down on either side of that left foot. Step the right foot back to plank pose. And now flow through vinyasa, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga dandasana, upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. Now lengthen the spine. On an inhale, reach the left leg high, and step the left foot forward, bringing it between the hands, spin the right heel to the mat, and rise to Warrior Two. Straighten the left leg, pivot on the left heel. Bring the arms up and overhead, interlace the fingers. Second time here, reach up high through the index fingers, lengthening the whole body. Now hinge at the hips, keeping the spine long. Come down halfway, and then rise all the way back up. Whoa, lots of core engagement there. Do it again, halfway down, and rise all the way back up. Let's do it one more time, just for good measure. Keep reaching through the index fingers, and rise all the way back up. Now bring your arms out to a T, and bend the right knee, pivot on the right heel. Back towards the front of your mat, Warrior Two. Now cartwheel your hands down on either side of the right foot. Come up onto the ball of that left foot. Right foot steps back. Plank pose. 2 more breaths in plank. 1 more. Now flow through vinyasa. Knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Again, you get the option. Upward facing dog and downward facing dog. Now bend your knees, even a little more than that. And then hop forward so the feet end up between the hands. Let your head drop down. Standing forward fold. You stay where you are. I'm moving to the front of my mat. Now chin on chest around the spine as you rise. And reach up high. Then as you exhale, bend your knees and come down to chair pose. And I'm going to move my feet a little bit farther apart. Keep reaching through the hands. Maybe bend the knees just a little bit more. 1 more breath. Now straighten the legs, reach up, look up, and then arms to a T. Swan dive, forward fold, and to a half lift. As you exhale, let your hands come down to the mat. And step that left foot back about a 3/4 step is all. Bend the right knee and rise to Warrior One, reaching the arms up and overhead in Warrior One. Maybe bend the right knee a little bit more. Now bring the hands behind you, interlace fingers behind your back, press the knuckles towards that left heel, keep that right knee bent, hinge at the hips, and bring the right shoulder down towards the right knee, and then press into the right foot and come back up. Let's do that twice more. All the way down, shoulder to knee, and rise back up. And 1 more time. All the way down. And then press into the right foot and come all the way up. Now release your hands, reach them high. And exhale the hands to heart center. Take a breath. Feel the strength building in your body. Now bring the hands to the mat. And step that right foot all the way back to 1 foot plank pose. And then bring that left foot down in plank. And flow through vinyasa. Knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga into upward facing dog. And when you're ready, downward facing dog. The next time you inhale, lift your left leg up. And then step at a 3/4 step forward. Spin the right heel to the mat and rise to Warrior One on our second side. So your left foot is forward, left knee is bent. Shoulders are square to the front of the mat. Bring the hands behind you, interlace the fingers behind your back. You can do it in the awkward way if you want to. Press the knuckles towards that right heel. Take a deep breath. Now hinge at the hip. Let the left shoulder come down to the knee. Press into the left foot and come back up. We're working on a number of things, but you're probably particularly feeling this. Come down now in that left leg. And 1 more time. Bring that left shoulder down to the knee. Let your head drop down. Now press in the left foot and rise all the way back up. Once you're up, release your hands, reach them high, and then bring the hands down on either side of the left foot. Now step that left foot all the way back to plank pose, and then the right foot steps back so that it meets the left foot. Now flow through our vinyasa. Knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga as always. Upward facing dog. And downward facing dog. Take a breath.
On an inhale, reach the right leg high, point the toes on the right foot, and then bend the right knee and bring knee to nose or chin, and then kick that right leg all the way back up. Do that a second time. Knee to nose or chin, and kick it all the way back up. And once more, knee to nose, and kick it all the way back up. Now knee to right elbow. Bend the elbows if you want. Straighten the elbows, reach the right leg back up. Now under the body, right knee towards left elbow. Bend the elbows if you want. And then kick that right leg all the way back up. Now step the right foot forward so it comes between the hands. Left hand stays on the mat. Right hand reaches up towards the sky. See if you can bend the right knee a bit more. Now bring the right hand down inside the right foot. We're coming to our revolved lunge twist. The left hand is reaching high. Now spin the left heel to the mat. Keep your right knee bent and come up to warrior two. That's what it looks like from the back. I'm going to turn around now to face the other side of the mat. So I think it would be kind of rude for me to be facing away from you the whole time. Now extended side angle pose. Elbow comes to knee. Reach with the right hand. Press into the pinky toe. Anchor into the pinky toe of that left foot. Rise back to warrior two. And then straighten the right leg. Left hand drops down. Reach the right hand up and back, coming into our reverse triangle pose. And now the arms come out to a T. And reach the right hand forward into triangle pose. Reach the left hand high. So you can lift that left shoulder up so it's stacked over the right shoulder. And breathe. One more breath. Now bend the right knee. Rise back to warrior two. And then bring your hands down. On either side of the right foot, come up onto the ball of the left foot. Right foot steps back to plank pose. Lift your hips high now in downward dog. And then come forward to plank and lift your hips. And plank and down dog. And plank and down dog. And one more. Plank and downward facing dog. On an inhale, lift the left leg high. Now bring the left knee towards the chin or the forehead or the nose. And then reach the left leg back up. Do that a second time. Knee to nose or thereabouts. And back up. And one more time. Knee to nose. And reach it back up. Now knee to right elbow under the body. And reach it back up. Knee to left elbow. Bend the elbows if you want. And then reach it back up. Now step that left foot forward so it ends up between the hands. Left hand on the mat. Right hand reaches high. Lunge twist. And left hand comes down to the inside of the left foot. And the right hand reaches high. Spin your right heel to the mat. Anchor into the pinky toe of that right foot. Keep the left knee bent and rise, warrior two. Again, I'll turn and come back the other way on my mat so that you can see me. Stay with warrior two another moment. Now extended side angle pose. Bring the elbow to the knee, reaching with the right hand. Rise back to warrior two. Straighten the left leg. Right hand down, left hand reaches up and back into our reverse triangle pose. Arms to a T now. Press into that right foot, reach the left hand forward. Triangle pose. Lengthen the spine. One more breath. Now let that left knee bend and rise to warrior two. Settle into warrior two. And then cartwheel the hands down. On either side of the left foot, step the right foot forward into a standing forward fold. Let your head drop down. Let the head get really heavy here and bring the weight into the front of the feet. Now bend your knees and rise, chair pose. Pull the tailbone down towards the heels a little bit, deepening your movement into the pose. Look forward. Now straighten the legs and let your hands come down by your side. You can actually bring the hands to heart center for a moment. You release the hands down by your side. Reach your left arm up and overhead, and then bend the left elbow and bring the back of the hand. I'll show you what it looks like from the back side. The back of that left hand, the palm, to the middle of the back. Reach the left elbow up and overhead. We're going to stretch the tricep muscle now. We've moved into the static stretching portion of our practice. Bring the right hand to that left elbow, and then pull the elbow over to the right side. You feel that stretch in the tricep, the back of that left arm. Try and keep the weight evenly distributed in both feet, and pull. And let it go. Let's go to the second side. Reach the right hand up and then bend the right elbow. The palm of that right hand in the middle part of the back. Reach the left hand up and get a hold of the elbow on that right arm with the left hand. And now pull. You can allow that right hand to move down the back a little bit if you like. One more breath in our beautiful, beautiful static stretch of the tricep. And let it go. Now bring the left arm out with the fingers pointing up, and then bring your right palm to your left. Well, it's not quite the palm, but the palm to the fingers, and then pull back, keeping that left arm straight if you can. Maybe it's easier to see on this side. And you're probably going to feel a big stretch now in the forearm, the back of the forearm. Is that still the forearm? The lower part of that left arm. And the more you pull the fingers back towards the shoulder, the deeper that stretch becomes. And good. Let it go. Over to the other side. Same thing on the other side now. Bringing a nice static stretch into the back of the lower part of the arm. And you kind of push the heel of that hand away on that right arm. And let it go. Now bring the arms up to a 45-degree angle. Feet about hip width apart. Actually, let's make them wider than hip width apart. So about 2.5 feet. Now, eagle arms. Wrap the left elbow under the right elbow, and we're going to stretch out the shoulders a little bit. Now lift the elbows up. Keep your chin level. Now lift the elbows and the chin, and then as you exhale, hinge at the hips and come all the way down. Let your head drop down. Press into the front of the feet and rise into the balls of the feet. Lift the elbows and the chin, and exhale and bring it down. This time as you come up, unravel the arms. Reach the arms up and overhead, interlace the fingers, invert the palms, stretch the palms towards the sky. We did this before, very early in our practice, but there we just held it for a moment. Here we're holding the stretch for a little bit longer. So keep reaching up through the palms. One more breath. And then let it go. Bring the arms out to a T. Actually, let's circle the arms. Release some of that tension in the shoulders. Now arms to a 45-degree angle. Let's find the second side of our eagle arms, wrapping the right elbow under the left elbow. Palms together if you can. Now lift the elbows up a little bit. Feel that stretch in the shoulders. And now lift your chin, lift your elbows, and exhale, bring it all down. Press into the front of the feet and rise back up, lifting the elbows and the chin, feeling that back bend, and exhale and bring it down. This time rise and release the arms, reach them up high, and exhale the hands to heart center. You can walk the feet back so they're just about hip width apart. Now come down to a seat, and once you're seated, bring the soles of the feet together. I'm going to turn towards the front of my mat. Bring the soles of the feet together. We're coming to Cobbler Pose. You can bring the hands to the ankles with the thumbs pointing towards one another. Now breathe in deeply so that your spine lengthens, and then pull your shoulders back a little bit. Draw the navel in at the same time so that you're keeping the spine nice and long. Your gaze is forward. Maybe pull your heels back a little bit closer to your pubic bone if you like. And just take a moment, maybe 3 breaths, to notice where you're feeling a stretch in this pose. Notice what muscles you're feeling that stretch in, or what parts of the body. Find one more breath. Now keep the soles of the feet together and come all the way down to your back. You may need to move your heels closer to your pubic bone now. This is Souptabata Konasana, or an inverted cobbler pose. Give you a little bit different feel perhaps. Although the leg position hasn't changed much. It's changed a little bit, but not too much. Find 2 more breaths. Breathing in deeply, and on the exhale, making an effort to surrender into the pose and let go. And bring the knees back together. You can help them with your hands. And then come to a seated posture, and then from there, come to table pose. Once you're in table pose, walk your hands forward quite a bit, so about as far as you can. And then let your chest drop down, let your chin drop down, and maybe bring your forehead, my mic's in the way a little bit, bring your forehead to the mat into puppy dog pose. Here the hips are right over the knees, and the belly is dropping down, the chest is pressing down, and the chin is on the mat if you can. Take 5 breaths, softening into this deep, deep back bend. 3 more breaths. Keep reaching the tailbone away from the knees. And 1 more breath. Good. Now slowly come out and back to table pose. Now tuck your toes and lift your hips into downward facing dog. And we're going to stay in downward dog for 5 breaths. Press your heels down towards the mat, bending the knees if that creates too much sensation in the back of the legs. Reach the top of your head towards your hands. Press your hands into the mat and away from you. And remember to reach your tailbone towards the top of the space behind you. Maybe it's the intersection of the wall and the ceiling behind you. 1 more breath. On an inhale, reach your right leg high into 3-legged dog, opening the hips to the right, working on stacking the right hip over the left hip. Find 1 more breath, and then level the hips and step the right foot forward so it comes between the hands. Bring the left knee to the mat, untuck your toes, and rise. Once you're up, bring your hands to the knee, straighten the elbows if you can, and press that right knee forward. Begin to notice where you're feeling the stretch in this pose. And we're going to be here about 4 more breaths. Maybe press that right knee forward a little bit more, letting the hips drop down just a bit. Maybe feel that sensation in the hip flexor muscles on that left leg. 1 more breath. Release the hands down now. Straighten the right leg, reach the head forward. And then bend the right knee and bring that right knee back to the left knee, back to table pose. And now step the left foot forward, tuck the toes, and bring the right knee off the mat, straightening the right leg. Now reach that left leg up and overhead into 3-legged dog. I know we got there a little bit differently than we did on the other side. Find your 3-legged dog on the left side. 2 more breaths here. And 1 more, stay with it. Level your hips off now, and then bring that left foot forward so it comes between the hands. Bring the right knee to the mat, and rise up. Bring the hands to the left knee, and press that left knee forward.
Press the hips forward and down a little bit. You're feeling that now at the top of the right thigh, top of that right leg, right outside the hip. That's probably your hip flexor muscles that are talking to you there. You can straighten the elbows if you want. Maybe experiment a little bit in the pose. Notice what positions feel like you're getting the best stretch out of it. And that's it. Let it go. Bring the hands down to the mat. Tuck the toes and bring the right knee off the mat. Now straighten the left leg. Reach the head forward. And then step that left knee back to meet the right knee. And tuck your toes and lift your hips into our final downward facing dog. Take another 2 or 3 breaths in downward dog, feeling that stretch in the whole back body, all the way from the palms through the arms and the shoulders, and then down the back to the waist and the legs. And come back to plank pose, and then the knees to the mat. And come to a seat now. Now bring the legs out in front of you and roll all the way down to your back. Once you're on your back, bring your arms out to a T with the palms facing down. Reach the feet up to the sky, legs up the wall pose. Keep both legs straight and bring the right heel down to the mat. We're going to do a supine twist now. Bring that left leg all the way over to the right and let it land. And look off to the left, getting a hold of the big toe on that left foot with the right hand if you want to. Now 5 breaths in this supine twist. Just begin to feel the breath slowing a little bit. Use the breath to help you to relax, to let go and surrender into the pose. Enjoy one more breath. And then lift that left leg all the way back up. Once that left hip or sitting bone lands on the mat, swap the legs out, bringing the left leg down, reaching the right leg high. Now bring the right leg over to the left side and let it land. If it doesn't land, that's okay. You can bend the knee if you like, that left knee, rather the right knee, or you can use a prop and you can rest the knee or the foot on a blanket or a bolster or a block. Your gaze is off to the right in our supine twist on the second side. One more breath. And release that foot all the way back up. And then bring both feet down. Let's find a bridge pose. Feet about hip width apart, soles of the feet pressing into the mat. When you're ready, lift your hips. See if you can tuck the shoulder blades under the body towards one another as you lift the hips high. You can interlace your fingers behind your back if you want. Or you can bend the elbows, reaching the hands towards the sky is another option. Sometimes that's called robot arms. Or you can just leave the hands on the mat. Let's find one more breath. And let it go. Time now to move into the 5th and final phase of our practice, Shavasana. You know how to do this. Straighten your legs. Maybe let your toes flop out a little bit. I like to flip my palms so that they face up
so that I'm not feeling a lot of stuff in my fingertips, rubbing on the floor, or even resting on the floor. Let your awareness come now to your breath. And just notice how your breath is feeling in this moment. Notice if the breath is feeling a little ragged, or whether it's feeling soft, or maybe somewhere in between. And now see if you can notice the trend of the breath. Does it feel like it's lengthening as you rest in Shavasana? Or do you feel no change in the length of the breath? Begin to imagine that you're able to direct the breath to all parts of your body pretty much at will. And the next time you inhale, imagine that you're bringing the breath to the tips of the toes. And on the next inhale, imagine that you're sending the breath to the tips of the fingers. Now send the breath to the ankles. And then to the knees. Send the breath to your hips. And then to your lumbar spine, the lowest part of the spine. And to the middle part of the back. And to the upper part of the back, just above the shoulder blades. Now send the breath to the shoulders. And to the hands. And finally to the neck. Now become aware of your whole body all at once. And as you breathe in, feel the breath flowing to the whole body. Enjoy a couple more full body breaths. Imagining that the breath is moving to every part of your body. Notice both how that feels and, if you can, how it makes you feel or allows you to feel. Now begin to bend your knees and then roll to your side as we move towards the end of our yoga practice. Now once you feel like you're ready, come to a seat. Keep your eyes gently closed and bring your palms together at heart center. Now join me in taking a deep breath in through the nose, and then we're going to do a big open mouth exhale. So breathe in really deeply through the nose, and then open the mouth for the exhale. Do that one more time. A deep breath in through the nose,
And an open mouth exhale. I offer you loving kindness. May you be happy, well, and safe. And may you be peaceful and at ease. Thank you so much for joining me today for this yoga practice. Namaste.